What's going on YouTube? What's going on Raider Nation? It is your boy Byron Live 95 back at you with another Raider video. And today I want to talk about the 4 odd things that were going on during the 2013 Raiders season. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the year 2013, there was a lot of weird stuff that was going on with the Raiders during this time. And I decided to pick out 4 that stood out to me during the 2013 NFL season. And we're going to start off with number 1. The quarterback competition. Now, the Raiders would already have Terrell Pryor, which was Al Davis's last draft pick from 2011. Pryor would only start in 1 game in Week 17 of 2012 versus the San Diego Chargers. But the Raiders would now have a new general manager, which means that there would be a new regime in Oakland. The Raiders would trade with the Seattle Seahawks to acquire quarterback Matt Flynn, which Matt Flynn had spent time with Reggie McKenzie in Green Bay. But it wouldn't stop there, as the Raiders would also draft quarterback Tyler Wilson in the 4th round of the 2013 NFL Draft out of the University of Arkansas. The Oakland Raiders would also pick up quarterback Matt McGloin from Penn State as an undrafted free agent going into that season, which was not invited to the NFL Combine. So going into training camp, there were a lot of eyes on the quarterback, seeing who was going to improve, who could take over, and who was basically going to be the number 1 starter. In the beginning of training camp, a lot of reports had mentioned that Matt Flynn by far looked the best in training camp, and was reported that he was clearly the number 1 guy. But for another quarterback, there would be a quarterback that would be struggling heavily, and that quarterback was rookie quarterback Tyler Wilson. Head coach Dennis Allen would go on to say he has all the physical tools, but is behind from a mental standpoint. There was even one Friday practice where Tyler Wilson would throw 4 times, would throw for 4 pass attempts, and he got picked off 3 times. That's definitely not good when you're starting out as a rookie quarterback. He would eventually lose his 3rd string role to undrafted rookie Matt McGloin. Tyler Wilson sadly would be cut after just the preseason, which rarely happens, but hey, it is what it is. Which during that preseason, he only completed 11 out of 18 passes for 93 yards. He was also sacked twice, and he had ran 3 times for -5 yards. And another thing would happen between the quarterback battles. Now, Matt Flynn had looked like the guy during training camp, but Terrell Pryor looked like the number 1 starter in the preseason.
Going to run away from pressure. And he crossed the line, so he'll just run. Get out of bounds now, and he does. Pryor steps up. Pryor throws over the middle. Caught by Michael Rivera, the rookie tight end. Play action to Jennings. Pryor flushed out, rolling right, chased by Stelz, and they're not going to bring him down. He ran through a tackle. Now a jump throw down the sideline and caught for a Raider first down at the bare 44-yard line. Here's Pryor back on 2nd and 10. Again flushed out, runs away from it, breaks a tackle, first down, 10, 5, touchdown, Raiders! What a run by Pryor there. Pesto with Pryor. They're going to roll him out right. He has Alawale, the fullback, in the flat. Pryor throws down the field, though, for Andre Holmes. Jacoby Ford singled up right. Pryor down the middle. Caught to the goal line and in for a Raider touchdown. Nick Casa, the rookie tight end, with a touchdown and a beautiful seam throw there by Terrell Pryor.
Now, after the preseason was over, Terrell Pryor would become the starter after Matt Flynn would be out due to an elbow injury. Now, Terrell Pryor would start the first 3 games and would be 1-2 as the starter. Now, while he was a quarterback, he had 324 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He also ran 26 times for 198 yards, averaging 7.6 yards a carry. But Terrell Pryor would get a concussion against the Denver Broncos on a Monday night game. An injury was so severe that Terrell Pryor would have to leave the game. Not only that, he would also have to be ruled out for Week 4 against the Washington Redskins. Now, Matt Flynn, the guy who was signed to be the starting quarterback, and he was supposed to be the starter and didn't really look that good in preseason. Now this was his time to prove that he looked like the day 1 starter that they said he looked like in training camp.
And on 3rd down, Flynn having time, but he's going to be tackled from behind at midfield. And here is Flynn going downfield. And the pass is caught right around the 20 by Daenerys. Flynn on 3rd down and 7 has time. Touchdown! Michael Rivera. 3rd down and 5 out of the shotgun. And Flynn has a pass intercepted at the 43 by David Amerson. And he goes in for the touchdown. Matt Flynn, timeouts remaining. And Matt Flynn gets slammed by Ryan Kerrigan. Flynn holding on to the ball, and down he goes. And it's an 18. And Flynn will be the victim of Brian Toom. 3rd down and 8. And here's Flynn, and Flynn is tackled from behind.
Tight after today.
And the ball knocked away from Flynn. And the loose ball.
In his first career start as an Oakland Raider, the Raiders would lose this game, and Matt Flynn would finish with 227 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But it didn't look good for Matt Flynn at all because he would be sacked 7 times. Now, Tyler Wilson was cut during the preseason, which was a shock to a lot of people. And there will be another shock to the quarterback competition, which Matt Flynn would be cut just 1 week later after this game. Now they put back in Terrell Pryor.
Half sacks officially for the Chiefs. And they're coming again, 2nd and 10. Pryor intercepted. Hussein Abdullah, and it's going to be a pick 6. 2nd and 5. Pryor intercepted by Cooper. Pryor looks underneath. It's intercepted. Picked off by Thomas. Thomas cruising. Thomas breaks a tackle.
Behind and intercepted. Went off the hands of his receiver, and Bradley Fletcher has it.
Back foot throw. It's intercepted. And the first major mistake by Pryor, Quentin Dempsey.
Would remain the starter all the way up until week 10. During that time, he would go 2-3 as a starter, and during the time he started, he had 935 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, but sadly would throw for 8 interceptions. He also ran 42 times for 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, and averaging 7.2 yards a carry. Now, Terrell Pryor would be sidelined after spraining his MCL, which meant in week 17, another starter would be starting for the Oakland Raiders, and it would be Matt McGloin.
He gets his first NFL start. What they want from him, get the ball out quick and avoid the disastrous turnovers. And that's a touchdown caught by Denarius Moore. McGloin with his first NFL touchdown pass. 1st down and 10, McGloin. He'll go deep. What a catch! Andre Holmes. McGloin, touchdown, Rod Streeter. A 16-yard. Blocked by Brazil. Downfield touchdown. What a throw! Michael Rivera. 26-yard strike by McGloin, who has just thrown in his first NFL start his 3rd touchdown pass today.
And Matt McGloin will remain the starter all the way up until week 16. And during this time, he would go 1-5 as the full-time starter. He passed for 1,460 yards and threw for 8 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. But during the last game of the season in week 17 against the Denver Broncos, Coach Dennis Allen would decide to put Terrell Pryor back into the starting lineup. And the Raiders would lose that game 13-14. Terrell Pryor would pass for 207 yards and have 2 touchdowns, and he would also run 9 times for 49 yards, averaging 5.4 yards a carry. So it's crazy how in 2013 we started with 4 quarterbacks. The quarterback who got drafted in the 2013 NFL draft got cut before the preseason started. The undrafted quarterback is the one that took the 3rd string spot. Then you have the guy who you brought in and traded for quarterback, ends up doing well in training camp, but not so much in the preseason, and gets beat out by a quarterback who hasn't been a quarterback in college really that long or in the NFL. That's wild. So that is to me, that season amazes me of all the stuff that was going on with the quarterbacks. Tell me what you guys think in the comments.